What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with another Edge of Fate video. Actually, this isn't an Edge of Fate video, it's a Destiny 2 Year of Prophecy video, and we're going to speak about free loot. Of course, free is an interesting definition. This will be pointed out in the comment section. Some of the stuff we'll touch on here is actually free, you can just grab it. Other things are free, but there's a bit of RNG involved, and then there is free to play loot, which actually, in this update, there's quite a lot of very good gear that can be obtained without owning any expansions, so it's a bit of a mashup of a few different things in this one, but thought it might be interesting or helpful for a bunch of folks. So if you do find this one useful, then do us a massive favor and hit subscribe, as around half of my viewers are not actual subscribers of the channel. That would help me out massively. I appreciate you as always. Now though, let's get into it. First thing to highlight right here, this is very free, arguably, but Saint 14 actually has old Trials armor sets. Now, of course, we have the Armor 3.0 system. Given that these are old armor sets, they're not tiered or anything like that, but if you want them for the cosmetic component, it now has 5 rows of previous seasons and releases Trials armor. So there's the OG styled sets, some of the other seasonal sets, including the ones that we got in Heresy. So if you want to grab these, then do the synthweave stuff so that you can apply them as ornaments to other armor sets. My understanding is that these are available for all players. It might just be that you like the look of them or you missed out on them on previous seasons. So that's the first thing. Be sure to go and visit Saint. Another little boost to be aware of with the armor sets that you can see on these vendors as well. If you've got one character that's at power 200, if you're going to be running your other characters and they're at lower power, these gear pieces will actually drop at 200 for your secondary characters. So as long as you've reached 200 power once, or whatever power you are, it might be 150, this is a quick way to provide a bit of a boost for your other characters, even if you just pick them up and use them for infusion, for instance. Another very similar mention would actually be for the Drifter. If you go to the focus decoding menu here, you can see more or less the majority of previous Gambit weapons that are being introduced. That includes the Backfang, the glaive, that was added back in Heresy, and classics like Bygones, but also legacy armor from Gambit is featured here as well, including those that had the first set bonuses that we ever got in Destiny, which were the Gambit Prime armor sets. So again, you can use it for that second or third character boost in terms of base power, or indeed for transmog. Arguably cost a good amount of glimmer, 15,000 glimmer, to purchase one of these, either from Saint or the Drifter, but if there's something there that you really want, you're probably not going to mind. We'll even mention some armor sets you could apply these to if you want, because with the most recent update, Bungie made seasonal content free for all players. And that means when we look in the portal, we've got gear sets like TechSec that we can get from solo ops, and they of course have some of the set bonuses. They are Armor 3.0, and we'll be able to earn multiple tiers of the TechSec armor set as we level up in this update. An even better armor set would be the Bushido set of gear that we can get from Pinnacle Ops. Of course, not so easy to access for solo players, although you can use Fireteam Finder. Some of the Bushido stuff actually looks pretty cool depending on which class you're on. I'm not 100% on the Titan armor here, although I do like the class item with the swords, but importantly, Bushido sets have a decent set bonus. The 2-piece one allows final blows with freshly drawn or reloaded weapons to heal you, and then when you equip 4 pieces of it, there's a bonus where bow, shotgun, or sword final blows temporarily reduce incoming damage, and damaging targets with those weapons extends the effect. So those are just a couple of the armor sets that we can get in Season of Reclamation, which are free to all players. Of course, you do actually have to earn them though. You probably know this by now, but as you can see on the Bushido armor, that is the seasonal icon. So if you see any piece of gear with that icon on it, it doesn't require an expansion in order to actually earn it or use it. So obviously that applies to weapons as well, where we've got new archetypes, like the rocket-assisted frame pulse rifle, Mint Retrograde. That's also earnable inside of Pinnacle Ops. It's a strand rocket-assisted frame, and interestingly that means it can get bonuses like beacon rounds. Also the first column can get rewind rounds, recycled energy, hatchling, stats for all, and then envious arsenal, with the second column able to roll bait and switch, chain reaction, slice, elemental owning, master of arms, and one for all. So it's a really solid weapon, but there are others that will drop in the solo ops category as well, such as the Mercury a high-impact longbow. This is a kinetic weapon, but we've got things like Successful Warm-Up, Rapid Hit, Built to Blast, where we gain an aim assist, stability, and flinch resistance boost when we have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, or Avoid Overshield, plus we can get Tunnel Vision, Demolitionist, and Attrition Orbs, which can be paired up in the second slot with perks like Kinetic Tremors, Adagio, Adrenaline Junkie, Precision Instrument, Elemental Owning, and High Ground. Something else that can be earned in solo ops is the Ahab Char, a rapid-fire frame auto rifle, which comes with solar damage. We won't go over every perk here, but you can see there are combos like Subsistence or Heal Clip, which you can pair up with Burning Ambition, another new trait where dealing sustained damage scorches the target, and dealing damage to a scorched target will inflict scorch. There's also the Kronicle Strand Adaptive Frame SMG. That one, I believe, is a Fire Team Ops reward. And another Pinnacle Ops drop, the Lionfish 4FR, which is a Stasis Rapid Fire Frame Fusion Rifle. Looks more like an SMG, the actual weapon model, but there are nice combos on there with things like Rhyme Stealer paired up with Chill Clip. So while there are certainly still limitations on how much very good loot you can get without owning expansions, for example, some of these are actually pretty juicy and even have some of those brand new set bonuses or weapon archetypes on them. So I think they're worth a mention. Some other things worth keeping an eye out for in terms of stuff that is available to everyone. Ada 1 will be featuring various different armor sets from past releases. They aren't necessarily going to be the best looking things, or I think it's safe to say it certainly won't be the case that they're the best stat rolls, but if you're padding out collections, it's something to watch for. Same with Banshee nowadays, because he'll be featuring a bunch of older weapons and things as well. Well, that can even include heresy weapons, some of which were actually very good in the last episode before we got to Edge of Fate. So I feel like those apply, as do the things that Xur can sell, because while this does require RNG, Xur can now sell Palindrome Adept, according to the database. The same thing applies for the Lotus Eater Adept, all of the Adept Heresy weapons, and a bunch of other stuff. Again, they're not going to be tiered rewards, but if you've got a Godroll Lotus Eater, for instance, it's always going to be a very, very strong weapon. Only the absolute best weapons in Edge of Fate could potentially be better than it. And even then, it's far from guaranteed to be the case. So I just wanted to break some of that stuff down for any players who are interested. One of the positives with the portal is that, of course, it highlights which rewards we'll actually be able to earn. So that'll certainly help you along the way, but considering how many very solid rewards are actually available for free-to-play players, or without purchasing every single release, even little bonus shouts like Saint having the old Trials armor sets, I thought might be useful. So give me your thoughts in the comment section. Yes, the conversation about the grind in the portal is a separate one. I'll reiterate that I will have a few thoughts on all of the system changes soon, but if you found these shoutouts helpful, a rating really does help me on the channel. And once again, get subscribed so I can keep you posted with more content. Otherwise though, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.